Look what they're showing on the screen. They're saying that that's some new images coming in. So they just show you like a gray landscape with some grainy little divots in it. Those are supposed to be craters. And then they just point to a dot and they're like, look at this dot. That's proof that it's there. And then what's the source? The source is NASA. Who took that photo? Where did that come from? So whenever you see one of these photos of anything supposedly man-made on the moon, leftover lunar equipment from any of the past missions, anytime you see any supposed pictures of that, the source is always NASA, the same guys who lied about it to begin with. And it comes from supposedly a satellite that they supposedly have orbiting the moon. They'll point to a dot and be like, that's the flag. That's the leftover lunar module base from the 1969 mission. See the dot? It comes from NASA, the same guys who lied about it to begin with. So these shots are always ridiculous, in my opinion, and they don't prove anything.
Whether communications are happening.
Look at this. What's with the fisheye lens? You know what I'm saying? Look at these images that they're giving us. Why do you have to use such a terrible fisheye lens like that? Why would you send a ship to the moon to land there and not have the absolute best camera equipment? So you're telling me that's what you're going to film with? That's what you're going to take pictures with, is some fisheye crap? And then you're going to just point like at the ground, and you're going to have your part of the body of the ship in the shot, like it's like taking a bit of a selfie. Come on, man. Oh, yeah, well, that's as good as they can get now in 2024. That's as good as they can get, man. That's the best that they got. That's the best that your money and my money can buy, right? The money that they steal from us, that's the best that they can do with it. You just have to believe that that's good enough.
Several days later.
I have a few very fascinating images for you that I can talk through now if you look up at the teleprompter. This is a picture of Odie on the surface of the moon, touching down with its engine firing. You see here the landing gear pieces broken off there on the left of the image. The landing gear did what it was supposed to do and protect the lander as it landed on the surface. Engine plume interaction with the surface gives us this excellent view of how the ejecta, the regolith, moves away from the plume interaction. So I'm really proud of that. Next picture. This picture shows the fisheye's kind of view of and all of the data that's within how we're able to give you the images we have. And here we are, how Odie conducted the brilliant 6-day mission on the surface. You see the gold foil blanket is the helium tank. You see that we're tilted over slightly, still more upright than we initially thought. And we believe this is the orientation of the lander. You see that we're tilted over slightly, still more upright than we initially thought. This is the orientation of the lander on the moon.
The landing gear failed. You bigged it up and said it worked, it snapped, it failed. So you're even having to deviate from the original storyline to justify this silly pantomime and silly sci-fi charade to yourself and others. It's ridiculous, mate. It's embarrassing. Even mainstream believers at work are laughing at how ridiculous this is. What an embarrassment, this so-called moon landing from NASA and Intuitive Machines. Same company anyway. But the embarrassment continues. Look. And this image isn't proof of anything, mate, is it? Other than the gullibility and the naivety of people like you who actually believe this.
This can be cropped in and layered over the top of anything. So whenever I see anything like this where there's some hunky piece of space like equipment from the rocket or whatever blocking half the shot, like, let's take a picture, but make sure to block a third or a half of the shot with our own equipment. Yeah, you can't have a clear shot of anything. Make sure to have your own equipment blocking every damn shot. It's just so stupid.
There's scientific information in that data right there.
Oh, there's scientific information in this image that can't be tested and verified by anyone. Nah, mate. Nah. There's a storyline attached to this image to get nerds like you salivating over silliness. They're giving you a storyline because they can't give you any imagery now. Not anything of any quality because they know they get exposed. All they're left with is a silly storyline and terrible imagery. The storyline gives them an excuse for the terrible imagery.
I'm going to give you an estimate of how much data we've actually brought down.
Again, claiming that he's got data from this image. Again, if he gets a signal or whatever that supposedly comes from the moon, who's testing and verifying that? No, no one. How's this beneficial to anyone, these images in this storyline? It's not, is it? How was the original moon landing beneficial to anyone? It wasn't, was it? And you only got to look at Buzz Aldrin in recent years. He tells you they didn't go. He spells it out for you.
Would each of you give us your estimate of what is the meaning of this to all of us?
You want to try that? After you.
Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you, we say, we have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. One of truth's protective layers. There are places to go beyond belief. Those challenges are yours. In many fields, not the least of which is space, because there lies human destiny.
You sometimes seem uncomfortable with your celebrity, that you'd rather not have all of this attention.
No, I just don't deserve it. No, I just don't deserve it.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen, so in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Circuit breaker.
Well, let's talk about this, because this is fascinating. I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does, I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
There wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio and listened.
Talking about how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said, contact light, engine stop.
It was
and
exciting.
A few other things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah. This was
not a bad line.
Yeah. So I'm really proud of that. Next picture. This picture shows the fisheye.
Oh, this is incredible stuff. Incredible. Oh, data-rich image here. Unbelievable. The mockery from these guys is off the charts. America should be enraged, going crazy by this stuff. By how unconvincing, how unhelpful, how boring, how expensive, how predictable. And the fact they're claiming this is a private company, but it's funded by NASA. So it's just lies from pantomime artists, NASA, desperately trying to save this space globe charade. It's dying, folks. It's dying. I think they're doing it on purpose as well. I think it's done slowly here, just to break people in slowly, progressively. Otherwise, these mainstream believers, if they were just told outright, a lot of them would just lose the plot overnight. Walking the streets, just talking gibberish to themselves. Bless them.
It land upright. We captured data, and then we tilted over.
You captured data? No, you sent back images that are ridiculous, mate, and then you're claiming you've got data from that and that you know what's going on. When really, this is just pathetic. That's the latest breaking, hot off the press news, stroke imagery, stroke storyline, stroke pantomime from NASA. And it's embarrassing. But it's obvious that they're basically shutting this charade down now. And they've done so in an embarrassing fashion. I suspect there'll be a little bit more storyline to come. Oh, the battery found a bit of energy. We took some more images of some dirt with his GoPro, which will satisfy the nerds. But like I said, even people at work now are starting to question this and laughing at this. And as a result of this, questioning the bigger picture, which is great. But this has been cited as a huge success, yet it's embarrassing.
Let's see. Any proof of this thing landing on the moon? No, not yet. Not yet.
And the future of the first American spacecraft to land on the moon in more than 50 years is coming to an abrupt end. CTV's Garrett Barry on why the multi-million-dollar failure is still being considered a success.
Engineers in Houston are racing against time tonight to get more data off of the moon before their transmissions go quiet. Their lunar lander Odysseus is dying. In fact, it may already be dead, doomed by a flubbed landing that put the spacecraft on its side.
Caught a foot in the surface, and the lander has tipped like this. And we believe this is the orientation of the lander on the moon.
Solar panels are pointed in the wrong direction, and so are the antennas, which makes transmission even slower. Earlier today, Intuitive Machines, the company that spent $100 million to build the lander, estimated there were only a few hours left before Odie's battery is depleted. The mission has captured and transmitted these images taken while Odysseus was still in flight, approximately 30 meters above the moon's surface.
The real take-home message with any space mission is it's about the journey. It's about those failures. It's about the successes. It's about the whole trajectory. And we're all making our way into the future together. And I think if you're not at least celebrating part of it, I think you might be missing the point.
Hey, man. I know guys on crack that makes more sense than you.
Really? The update is that it fell over on its side and it has hours left to survive. That's right, guys. I know it's very sad news. But the Odysseus lunar lander is going to be dying very soon. It's very heartbreaking and sad. Try to hold back your tears while we watch the news report. Over $100 million of taxpayer money to send a phone booth-sized ship to the moon for it to fall over and die within like a day of being there. Ah! Roo, 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 roo. How come everybody was so damn happy if the damn thing fell over and only had a day to survive? Oh, it's still worth celebrating. It's still a monumental achievement. It's still just something that we should root over, of course, even though it fell over and is going to die.